All right, let's get right to it. Today, we're not dealing with opinions or theories. We are cracking open the actual open source code of the X algorithm to find out what really drives growth. If you've ever wondered why some accounts just blow up while others seem to stall out, the answer isn't some big secret. It's written right there in the code. So let's dive in. And honestly, the whole thing really boils down to this one number 9. This single digit, pulled directly from the algorithm's source code, is the most important factor for your reach and visibility. It's more important than how many followers you have, it's way more important than likes, and trust me, it changes everything about how you should be using the platform. So here's what that number actually means, and this is the core secret of the whole algorithm. In its size, a single reply is weighted 9 times more than a single like. Now, that is not an exaggeration. That's the literal mathematical foundation of how your content gets seen. So, while you might have been chasing likes, the algorithm's been looking for something completely different: conversation. And this brings us to the first major insight from the platform's ranking model. Again, this isn't just some influencer's hot take, it's a hard fact pulled straight from the code. The entire system is built from the ground up to prioritize and reward conversations. And here it is, laid out plain as day. This table shows the positive signals the algorithm is looking for. A reply, it gets a massive training weight of 9.0. Now compare that to everything else: a like, a retweet, even someone clicking on your profile. They're all weighted at just 1.0. The algorithm is sending a crystal clear message. It values a conversation starter 9 times more than just a passive thumbs up. So the multi-million dollar question is, how do you get these incredibly valuable replies? Well, it's not about luck, it's all about strategy. In this section, we're going to break down a playbook of very specific techniques designed to generate the conversations that the algorithm loves to reward. The source code itself actually points to several content formulas that are just engineered to get replies. First, ask open ended questions. Seems simple, but it works. Second, post a controversial but, not offensive, hot take that sparks a little debate. Third, use fill in the blank prompts. And finally, one of the most effective methods: publish an incomplete thought. And here is a perfect example of what I mean by that last one. By posting something just like this, you're creating an information gap. People's curiosity just kicks in, and they have this natural urge to fill it. The immediate reaction for so many people is to reply, "Hey, what's the third rule?" And just like that, you've intentionally created a high value engagement, a reply, right out of thin air. Okay, so we know how to generate replies, but the next and equally important question is, where do you place these replies to get the biggest bang for your buck? Because replying randomly just isn't going to cut it. To really maximize your visibility, you have to understand one of the algorithm's most powerful and kind of hidden concepts. It's a concept they call SYN clusters. You can think of it like this: the system organizes its entire user base into 145,000 different communities, or clusters, based on shared interests. They're like digital neighborhoods. There's a startup Twitter cluster, a crypto Twitter cluster, and a baking Twitter cluster. The algorithm's main goal is to show you the best content from the clusters you already belong to. So your strategy is to become a known, valuable member of your target cluster, and there's a really clear 3-step plan for that. First, consistently engage with the leaders of that community. Reply to their posts with real valuable insights. Second, speak the language of the cluster. Use the jargon, the inside jokes, the references that signal you're one of them. And third, create content that solves the specific problems that cluster actually cares about. This is how you prove to the algorithm that you belong. Now, we need to talk about a critical warning. You can do everything right. You can craft perfect reply bait, engage with all the right people, but all of that hard work can be completely erased if you happen to trigger one of the algorithm's defense mechanisms. I mean, imagine spending hours creating great content, only to have the algorithm decide to make it nearly invisible to anyone who doesn't already follow you. This is a very real risk, and it's caused by what the developers themselves call the slop filter. So, this slop filter is designed to identify what it sees as low quality authors, and then basically just limit their reach outside of their own network. The top 3 triggers are having very few followers, consistently publishing content that gets almost no engagement, and being a brand new account that hasn't built up any trust signals yet. If you fall into these categories, your number one goal has to be to escape them by building a small but highly engaged initial audience. And to really hammer home how seriously the algorithm takes quality, just look at the weight of negative signals. While a reply gives you a positive score of 9, getting blocked or reported can hit you with a penalty as high as negative 20,000. That's pretty much the algorithmic equivalent of a kill switch for your reach. So while you're focusing on getting replies, remember that quality and community respect are absolutely non negotiable. So all of this brings us to the final crucial question for your own strategy. Are you just creating content and publishing it out into the void, hoping for a few likes? Or are you architecting conversation starters? Because according to the code itself, that is the only question that truly matters for growth.